Here's a truth that sits in the back of a lot of our minds, but we rarely say it out loud. By the time you're in your 30s, you've run out of people to blame for the life you're living. For your 20s, there is a grace period. You're finding yourself, you're paying dues, you're recovering from a bad education and a broken family system. But once you cross that line into your 30s, the excuses run out of gas. And what's left is just you, alone with the quiet, creeping fear that maybe you're falling behind. And it's in that silence that we make a fatal mistake. We reach for our phones to check the scoreboard. Let me tell you about a man named David. He's 34. He lives in a city that smells like rain and asphalt, in a one-bedroom apartment he's been in for 6 years. It's not a bad apartment. It has high ceilings and good light in the morning, but it's starting to feel smaller. David has a good job. He's a project manager for a mid-sized logistics firm. It's stable, the health insurance is solid, but he doesn't talk about it at parties. Because when he's at a party, standing by the kitchen island with a bottle of craft beer sweating in his hand, he's not thinking about his good job. He's listening to his friend Marcus. Marcus is talking about his new startup. It's something to do with AI and sustainable packaging. David nods along, but he's not hearing the words. He's hearing the subtext. Marcus just bought a house, a real house with a yard and a mortgage that makes David's rent look like lunch money. Marcus's wife is pregnant. They're doing the thing. They're on the scoreboard. David drives home that night. He doesn't turn on the radio. The silence in the car is heavy. He gets upstairs, drops his keys in the bowl, and walks past the bedroom, past the bathroom, and stops in the doorway of the second bedroom, the one he calls the office, but it's not really an office. It's a room full of boxes he never unpacked from his last move. It's a guitar on a stand with 2 broken strings. It's a folding table with a dusty monitor. It's the room of a life that hasn't quite started. He doesn't go to bed. He sits on the couch and opens Instagram. And this is where the real damage begins. He sees a former coworker, Sarah, standing in front of a whiteboard in a glass office. The caption reads, "Year 3 of running my own firm, still pinching myself." He sees a guy he barely knew in college running a marathon in Chicago, looking gaunt and proud, a medal around his neck. He sees a couple from his building, the ones who always seem to be laughing in the elevator, posting a photo from a balcony in Tuscany. David isn't looking at photos, he's looking at verdicts. Every scroll is a judge's gavel coming down. Guilty of not enough. Guilty of being stagnant. Guilty of the empty room. He puts the phone down, face down on the coffee table, like he's trying to smother it, but the images are already burned into his mind. He starts doing the math. If he saves aggressively for 5 years, maybe he could have a down payment on a place half the size of Marcus's. He's too old to learn code, so the startup thing is out, and his knee has been hurting for months. A marathon would probably snap his leg in half. He's not depressed in the clinical sense. He gets up, he goes to work, he pays his bills, but there's a low-grade hum of inadequacy running through his days. It's the sound of other people's lives being better than his. It's the exhaustion of keeping up with the Joneses, except the Joneses aren't just your neighbors anymore. They're everyone you've ever met, and they're all winning. A few nights later, he's at dinner with his younger sister, Chloe. She's 29, vibrant, just got engaged. She's talking about venues, about centerpieces, about a savings fund they're calling the Honeymoon Hall. David listens, stirs his pasta, and feels himself shrinking. "So?" she asks, a little too casually. "Anyone special in your life?" The question lands like a stone in a quiet pond. He gives the standard answer. Too busy with work, waiting for the right one, the usual armor. Chloe means well. She loves him. But as he drives home, her question echoes, and then it gets tangled up with Marcus's house and Sarah's whiteboard and the couple in Tuscany. He's not just behind in one area, he's behind in all of them. His life feels like a house where every room is unfinished. He pulls into his parking spot. He shuts off the engine, and for a moment, he just sits there in the dark, in the silence of the parking garage. He's not reaching for his phone. He's just sitting. And in that silence, a strange thought occurs to him. It's not a quote from a book, it's just a feeling that he's been fighting a war that doesn't exist. The Stoics, they had a phrase for this. They called it the inner citadel. It's the idea that your mind is a fortress. The walls aren't there to keep other people out. They're there to remind you that the only battleground that matters is the one inside those walls. Everything else, the opinions of others, the applause, the criticism, the photos of other people's happiness, that's just weather. It hits the walls and slides off. It can't touch you unless you open the gate. David hadn't realized he'd left the gate wide open. He'd invited the whole parade in. Marcus, Sarah, the marathon runner, the couple in Italy. He'd given them all a seat at the table in his mind, and he was letting them vote on his life. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher, he was a crippled slave who ended up as one of the most influential thinkers of his time. He had nothing, no house, no family, no status, and yet he was free because he understood the division. He understood that some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Our reputation? Not up to us. What other people achieve? Not up to us. The house Marcus bought? Not up to us. The only thing that is up to us is our judgment, our will, our character. David looks at the phone in his cup holder. He thinks about the glowing screen. He realizes it's not a window to the world, it's a mirror, and the reflection it shows him is distorted. It doesn't show him his own life, it shows him his life compared to 100 other lives that he's seeing only the highlight reels of. He's been comparing his behind-the-scenes footage to everyone else's greatest hits, and he's been losing every single time. He doesn't delete his accounts. He doesn't throw his phone in the river. That's not the point. The shift is quieter. The next morning, a Saturday, he wakes up without the usual dread. He makes coffee. He doesn't pick up the phone. He stands by the window and watches the rain hit the glass. He just watches it for 5 minutes. He notices the way the water beads and runs, tracing little rivers down the pane. It's not exciting, but it's real. It's happening right in front of him. Then he turns around and looks at the door to the spare room, the room of boxes, the unfinished room. And for the first time, he doesn't see a symbol of failure. He sees a room. He walks over, opens the door, and steps inside. He stands in the middle of it. The dust motes are floating in the gray morning light. He looks at the guitar. He picks it up. He plucks one of the broken strings. It makes a dead, dull sound. He puts it back. Then he sees a box in the corner he'd forgotten about. He opens it. Inside are a few old paperbacks, a photo of him and some friends on a hiking trail 10 years ago, and a journal he kept in his early 20s. He opens the journal. The handwriting is messy. The thoughts are young, ambitious, full of grand plans. Some of them happened, most of them didn't. But reading it, he doesn't feel sad. He feels a strange tenderness for that younger version of himself, the one who was trying so hard, the one who hadn't yet learned that life isn't a checklist. He closes the journal and looks around the room again. He doesn't see an empty room anymore. He sees space. Space that isn't filled with Marcus's house or Sarah's career. Space that is his to fill or not to fill, on his time, not the internet's time. He starts small. He takes the boxes out to the recycling. He brings the monitor down to the electronics drop-off. He sweeps the floor. It takes a couple of hours. By the afternoon, the room is empty. It's just 4 walls, a floor, and a window. He stands there. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it. Maybe a guest room, maybe a place to read, maybe just an empty room, which in a crowded city is a kind of luxury in itself. He doesn't have the answer, but for the first time in a long time, the question doesn't feel like a threat. It feels like a possibility. We spend so much of our lives trying to fill our rooms. The room for career, the room for family, the room for adventure. We look at the rooms of others and we feel the panic of emptiness. We think we need to furnish our lives as fast as they do. But the Stoic practice, the real practice, isn't about building the biggest house. It's about realizing that the only room you'll ever truly live in is the one between your ears, the inner citadel. And you can't furnish it with other people's furniture. You can't decorate it with their achievements.
you have to find what fits in your own space. The noise of comparison, it's loud because we give it a microphone. We hand it our attention. But that noise, it's just the wind against the walls. It can't hurt you. The real work, the hard work, the work they don't show you on social media, is the work of looking at your own empty room and not being afraid of it. It's the work of sitting in the silence and realizing that you are enough, not because of what you filled your life with, but because of who you're choosing to become within it. And that, right there, that is a project that has no deadline and no competition.